Okay, so, hey, hi everybody. I have no idea what the intro was anymore.
I do.
And what?
I do.
What we used to say?
Yeah.
I don't recall. What was it, Brian?
Hello and welcome to Flick This Movie. I'm Brian Glass
No, we never said that.
and I'm Renee Garcia. And today we'll be reviewing A Quiet Place Part 2. Let's roll the
Really?
trailer.
Okay, well, we have no trailer.
Only because I look back at the last one.
Oh, okay. Good for you. I had it like queued up, but I don't feel right showing it unless it has like this background and all this stuff. Mainly because I don't want to get copyright stricken.
Plus, if you don't have it queued up, then there's nothing for us to look up at.
Yeah, all of that.
Right.
Stupid, you know, mugging for the camera, I think is what it's called.
Mugging.
And anyway, we're going to do it this way instead.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm still Brian Glass.
I'm still Renee Garcia. It's been a while, everybody.
Yeah, let's talk about our little hiatus.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
What's
You
been going
first.
on? I've been available every day for Renee. So what's been going on with you, Renee?
What? You've been please. I'll say that there is a little bit of truth to that. Like, Brian has been more available to me than I have to Brian, mainly because I sold my soul for a paycheck. I wouldn't say that I've necessarily stopped selling my soul for a paycheck since I've changed jobs. But I'm a little more available. That's the plus side, right? I'm able to do this video with you, Brian.
I think it's fantastic, and I'd love to get back into it. Now, for the people who are watching, they'll just see a
Yes.
gap of, movies. Like, why didn't they cover this? But for all intents and purposes, it's just episode number 15 for us.
Oh man, have we done 15 reviews?
This is it, number 15.
That's amazing. I keep
Yeah,
thinking we did like 5.
but it feels
Seriously.
like man.
Well, look, I mean, here's the thing, folks. I really don't know that we're going to continue this series. Brian and I will continue to review movies, and maybe not the most current films, but it'll exist in maybe a less offensive, more professional channel in the future.
Ugh, I don't know about that. Can we still be as offensive?
Oh, I guess fine. We're never offensive though, Brian.
Then we can stay as offensive.
Oh, look at you!
Ow, logic.
I
Huh,
know.
I'm telling you, man.
Words. So, Brian,
Yes, sir.
we watched A Quiet Place Part 2.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Who's
This when we
starting?
transition into ASMR.
Yeah? You really want to do it that way?
I don't think I do.
Okay, me
I
neither.
feel strange.
I was told by a doctor, well, a medical professional anyway,
Yeah.
that whispering is the worst thing you can do to your voice.
Then maybe we should stop.
Something about pressure. If you're a medical professional listening to this, could you verify that?
And we apologize.
What do they care?
Bodies, we apologize.
What? Body? What?
Our bodies, we
Oh,
apologize.
I do a lot worse to my body, Brian. My body knows. My body could tell you stories. Anyway, I don't know who's going first. Is it you?
I'm happy to go first.
Let it be you because I don't remember the format anymore.
So we can kind of give a little high-level review of the movie. I think we have this as our spoiler-free area, and then after that we can transition into spoiler territory. Since this is a new release still, I think that's appropriate.
All right, go for it.
So my spoiler-free view of this, I would say that A Quiet Place Part 2 was high-quality cinema for me. And by that, I mean that I was thoroughly entertained, engrossed, impressed, despite a few clunky choices along the way. We're all very, very pleased with this movie. And it's interesting because as I was watching it, I had this realization of not what this movie was necessarily, but what it wasn't. So I think that when we go to see a sequel or In this case, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a trilogy or a series at this point. Who knows?
Mm.
We kind of expect certain things in terms of world building, you know, and I think that we deliberately don't get that here. You know, there are things like things we expect to learn more about. We want to learn more about the creatures. Let's say, for example, what's their motivation? What is their greater impact on society? You know, and if you're going in with those expectations, I think that you're going to be unhappy with this film because what it is very different, and that's like it's a continuation of the first film. It's a taut continuation. I think it's very, very clean, and it literally takes place moments after the first one ends. And you know, in our spoiler section, I guess we could talk a little bit about the the very obvious physical change that occurs with the younger cast in a span, you know, in a break of a couple years. But I think the larger question is it okay that John Krasinski didn't follow the typical conventions of a sequel? And, you know, I think back to the last batch of Star Wars films, which were really derided as much for what they were as what they weren't. And that was that they didn't meet people's expectations of where the story was going to go, what was going to happen with the characters, whatever it was going to be. And I feel like this is a movie that is similar in that vein, in that, you know, it came out, it was a surprise, you know, there was this huge hit, but it's a pretty beloved movie, the first one. You know, people are just like, it's just a great movie, just a gem, you know. And I hope that the second one lives up to the same potential, or takes me further into the story. So I'll say this, as a person who just appreciates film, I always try to enter a film without expectations and kind of surrender myself to what the film is instead of what I want it to be. And so for me, it was really a success. You know, I felt like the original A Quiet Place was a very small story within this huge, like, world impacting series of events. And I was very happy to live in that world and continue those series of events. And, you know, Krasinski, he chose to treat that 2 to 3 year gap. I don't recall how long it's been, but in between the movies, as essentially like a very large intermission for like a 3-hour movie. You know what I mean? Mm. Like, he could have definitely just said, you know, go use the facilities, or, you know, have a refreshment break. And so from that high level, it definitely worked for me. How about you, Renee? What were your initial thoughts on the movie?
So I don't know that I can necessarily add much to what you just said. I feel very much the same in probably every point you laid out. I'll say that my initial reaction watching the film was that after, you know, since we've all been shut in over the last year or so, and our choices in media has probably broadened significantly, because we've all watched everything that's high quality, that now we're just watching anything that is playing in front of us on any of our streaming services, right?
Yeah.
And the quality of those sources of entertainment just it's not there, right? It's not cinema quality. And watching this movie with shots that you could tell were planned out, that it was pre-visualized, that the cinematographer knew the emotion that he or she wanted to convey with these shots. And then, of course, the sound design, right? It all felt very like another level that I think I've been missing for some time. So, overall, I thought the movie was very well done, well acted by the entire cast. Special effects, very good, on par, if not exceeding, the first movie. I think my biggest complaint with the film is that it felt short. And with a kind of a slow burn movie like this, and I wouldn't even necessarily, I don't know that it's necessarily a slow burn, but rather the world is so interesting, and maybe it's just interesting for people like me who love these kind of like post-apocalyptic worlds and seeing how it's changed humanity, especially when it's kind of the near future rather than Mad Max and like the oceans have dried up and it's like it's really changed. And just to see how people have degraded in it looks like in this film a year and a half, right? I wanted the film to last longer. Like I would have loved to have understood better the relationship that John Krasinski's family or Emily Blunt's family, I forgot their names. I think John Krasinski's name is Lee.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know what Cillian Murphy's character, what his relationship is with this family. Right? Are they just neighbors who go to this ball game, or did I miss a piece of dialogue where there are more than that? Like this is his cousin or something? I don't know. And there are these points in the film where people are talking about essentially their relatives or significant others or whatever, and they're speaking about important things that happen to them or are intrinsic to those characters, and we never get to meet them.
Yeah.
Right? They're just we find out that they've already died or whatever. They almost live in the movie as an expository device. Mm-hmm. And so with that said, I would have loved to have seen Cillian Murphy's character. Forgive me for not knowing his character name. Don't you dare look it up, Brian. Don't you dare.
Emmett.
That's right. It is Emmett. I remember it now. See his relationship with his children. See his relationship with his wife. There's some dialogue about why Emmett didn't come visit Lee or try to get to Lee.
Right.
And I didn't understand what the significance was there.
Well, I mean, it was a setup for later, obviously.
Well, I understand, but not from a storytelling perspective, not from like a plot device perspective, but from a why was Emmett supposed to get to Lee?
The understanding I had, just in terms of the...
Well, are we getting to spoiler territory, Brian?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
And I know I'm breaking into your thing, but it sounded like you're asking a question. So my understanding was just that since it's kind of a small town, which you could tell by like the main street, they actually have a main street, which tells me that it's a small town USA. So the in terms of the relationships, I kind of understood that these are just neighbors, but people are very neighborly, and you get to know your neighbor, and to have a neighbor who is in distress, one silo away, burning the silo, should be enough to cause concern and say, why isn't my neighbor checking on me? So I don't think there's any necessarily a familial relationship between the two, but I think it was just like this is a close-knit town.
Okay, but what wasn't clear to me is why was it Emmett's responsibility to go to Lee and not the other way around? It's not like Emmett is like this rich guy or has a lot of resources or is a single guy, doesn't have his own family to look after. And then when we look at Lee's setup in the first movie, they seem to be like pretty good. They got a little light system, they got a little farm, they're near to a waterfall for camouflage, sound camouflage. I personally wouldn't want anyone to come. Leave me alone.
That's a better question, by the way. Why didn't Lee come to me? I think it's a good question that was unanswered or unasked even.
That's what I mean.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So, nevertheless, I thought the movie was well done. There are parts in it, like towards the ending, that I think the movie still holds. It's still coherent. I just think that the weakness that they discover, or another weakness that they discover of the monsters, you'd think that the monsters would have been, like, they would have had a way to survive easier. Instead of, like, just how everybody just like, man, everything sucks. Especially some of the people who you discover towards, we'll say, the last third of the movie. It's like, you have the solution to your problem. You're living in in the solution.
Yeah.
Why don't you use the solution? It's just like a mile away. Anyway.
That's definitely delving into the spoiler area, and I have on that too.
So that's it for me. I think I recommend the movie, high quality. I just wish it was longer, and maybe there is a director's cut, a John Krasinski 4-hour Krasinski cut, right?
The Long John.
Oh ho ho ho! Look at you!
Wow. Hey, so it's really interesting that you mentioned the quality of the movies coming out, because man, it's like a wasteland out there.
Yeah.
When you can find something that's like decent, your expectations change. Like, that wasn't so bad. I think I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a movie like this comes along, and well, it was made in pre-COVID days, right? It was made in 19.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because I think it was or maybe it's 19 coming out in 20. I don't know. I think that's right. And boy, that quality is like, it's there. It's top notch, and it was just so pretty to look at, and listen to. And God, it was like everything was just high quality. Stunts, the action, like, wow, this is what a movie should be. This is how a movie looks.
Yeah, exactly. I wished, another point of criticism, I wish the movie, I know they're trying to do the whole PG-13 thing, but I wish that the monsters had been more visceral, more violent. Like, they keep showing that these monsters have, a lot of fangs, right? But, what do? They're just like batting people aside, like, get out of my way.
Use their pokey sticks.
Yeah, I guess, but you're not even seeing any blood.
Right.
Anyway, I just, it's the whole, whenever, like, the hero is being attacked by the insurmountable monster or whatever, or like if you're a normal human being and you're being attacked by a supervillain in a Marvel movie or a comic book movie, they never just like rip out your heart or rip out your brain. It's always like pick you up by the collar and throw you in this, in this very gentle lob that anyone can survive. Maybe the landing might be a little rough. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if I was a supervillain and I wanted to kill somebody, I would just rip out their heart,
Sure. Yeah. Show it to them.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open. That's supervillain stuff right there.
That's what I'm saying. Rip out their heart, shove it down their mouth.
Yeah.
I should never be a supervillain. Oof.
Either that or we should never try and write PG movies.
Yeah, well, I think I can still do that,
That all happens off screen.
Yeah.
It's implied.
It'll turn into like a hand-drawn cartoon in those moments.
Right. Just black and white and red.
Or a narrator.
Right.
Anyway, Brian,
Shall we delve
what's
into...
the do we do a spoiler break thing? Do we sing a song?
Yeah, we do. You go ahead and start.
I don't remember. Spoiler break. Spoiler break.
Break it down. Spoiler style.
You always gotta go funk, man. I was doing something like fun. Like
Funk.
let's all go to the lobby.
And have some spoiler breaks. Yeah.
See?
Breakdowns. Nope. All right. Well, I'm gonna start with one because I kind of mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
And it was strange. I was watching the movie with my wife, and I got a little confused at the beginning of this. My memory is, as Renee knows, is not the best. And then when you throw something like this in, which is, we got day one, and then we've got Krasinski in the picture, and we've got kids who are markedly older, especially the boy. I got confused. I'm like, what's happening right now? Is this day one? Like, I thought, is this day one after they like resettled or took back the planet or something? What am I watching? And why is Krasinski? And didn't he die? I don't understand what's happening right now because these kids are obviously older. So this must be taking place later. Oh, this is taking place before. And you're asking me to just imagine that they're old. that they're younger. And I don't know what it was, man, but I like had to pause the movie and ask my wife, I'm like, am I losing my mind? What's happening right now? She's like, this is the beginning. This is before the last movie. I'm like, wow, I got thrown. I got thrown because of the kids.
When was
I
the
don't
last
know.
time? When did you see A Quiet Place?
When it came out.
Oh, so years ago. But
Yeah.
you still remember the size of the children?
Yeah, because they were like, this is just a little kid at the time. And even the girl, what's her name?
I don't know. Don't look it
Millicent.
up. Don't you dare.
Millicent. Millicent. Yeah. Even Millicent was, you know, just like an adolescent. You know, here she's like a teenager, or at least she looks like that to me. So I mean, there's like a huge difference in time, and these things weren't adding up to me.
Mm.
So I was just a little confused, and I'm sure it was just me. And I know that that's the prerogative of the director to just make that choice. But man, I was very confused.
All right.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
Maybe
It didn't bother me at all. I actually don't remember the size of the children and whether or not they were older. They looked close enough. In fact, I wouldn't have known that the kid was if they replaced the kid with a different kid.
Right.
Like the National Lampoon Vacation movies, right?
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
Audrey and Rusty, right?
Who knows? I just remember the girl behind the counter showing off her high cut underwear.
Oh, okay.
Maria,
Don't
is that her
remember
name? Maria. Christmas Vacation? No.
Wasn't a big fan of Christmas Vacation. I like
Well,
the
I
first two.
remember that counter scene where she talks about, you know, the underwear, riding up her like so that you can't see the line. No, Brian, don't remember
Still
this?
don't remember.
Oh, you should watch it. That's the thing you should Google instead of freaking actor character names.
No, not going to do that.
I'll send it to you.
I just remember not enjoying that movie too much.
I'll send it to you.
Thanks. All right, so it was just me on the kids. Fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was thrown. That first scene, and it's funny. I remember seeing the trailer for Quiet Place 2, Part 2, rather. I think it was last year when it was scheduled to come out the first time. And remember they had that little snippet of the bus, and she's in her driving backwards. But I forgot about it because I don't like to prep.
Yeah.
I want to just kind of enjoy it. I don't,
Of course.
even if there are like multiple trailers for a movie I want to see. I'll see the first one and then I stop watching because I don't want to see any more.
Of course. It's the whole movie.
Yeah. So, man, I was just like holding on during that first scene. I'm like, this is so well done.
Yeah.
Like the hook was sunk, in my cheek, and I was like, I'm going along for this ride.
Yeah.
It was tense, and I was loving it. And I will say that I don't know if it was then or a little bit later. I got some popcorn, and there were just scenes that I was just like, I was eating my popcorn, and I looked down, and it was empty. I'm like, what? I don't remember any of this happening. I can't remember the last time I just sat there and was like, taken by a movie like this. That first scene was awesome. Very, very good way to set the tone of the movie.
No, I agree.
You mentioned Cillian Murphy, and he's always so cool, right?
Yeah.
He's always got such charisma and such presence. And so
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Like a very committed actor.
yeah, I dug his performance so much. I thought he did such a good job, and I thought it was well written. I love that he was so different than Lee from the first movie. He's not this like heroic guy trying to save his kids. He's got his own losses, and man, he just killed it again. I love that guy.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Do you have any spoilers you want to talk about, or anything that bothered you that we couldn't talk about in the first part of this?
So nothing really bothered me. I mean, there are parts where I felt like, all right, you're just gonna just kill off this character, or just like plot device kind of moments that I was just like, I'm watching a movie, So
You're talking about like the beginning, or are you talking about which part?
towards the end of the film. So just as an example, they it's already been understood. Apparently, we learned this after the fact. It's been understood that the monsters can't swim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our heroes need to get on this boat to get to an island, and they're trying to commandeer a boat that that is what is from what is looks like an empty dock. But apparently there are these like homeless or like kind of vagabond or kind of hippie boat people, right?
Boat people.
I don't know what you want to call them, but they're
Did you
living
watch-
in the boats.
Did you watch Lost?
No, I did not watch Lost.
Ah,
Are
they would
these?
refer to these as the others.
Why are they the others, Brian?
They're just like, kind of nomadic and kind of dirty and scrungy, and they'll do harm to you, so stay away from them. They're bad people. The
Okay.
others. That's what it reminded me of when I watched it. I'm like, oh, okay, we got our others scene.
I mean, and they look so grungy for people who live at the ocean. Did they not go swimming in the ocean? Like, go swim, clean yourself once in a while. But it looks like they just they just have like a sheen of oil, like body oil, It's just gross. I'm like, what the heck is happening here? So anyway, we learn that the world learned that the monsters cannot swim. And I don't know what that means. Like, can they not, they have to breathe? Is that it? Like they can't suffocate?
When did we learn that they can't swim?
Well, we learned that when Cillian Murphy is talking to Digimon. I can't remember how you say his last name.
Houston.
Houston? His last name is Houston?
Yeah.
No. Am I even saying his first name right?
No.
It's like Jimon or something. That starts with a D, right?
Yeah. DJ. I don't know. Let's call him DJ.
All right. Anyway.
But
So
I mean, we didn't know that until he knew that. I certainly didn't know that when they were getting in the boat.
Well, he talks about how once he says in his speech to Cillian Murphy, once we learned, right? Once we learned that the monsters couldn't swim, and I'm paraphrasing, the National Guard or the Navy or whomever had 12 boats lined up. Right? So it was widely known. And the reason, people started pushing, right? And they started screaming, and that's when the monsters came and destroyed 10 of the boats. Right? So
Right.
look, I have to assume it was widely known that the monsters couldn't swim at that point. And here you got these boat people with, apparently seafaring, like seaworthy vessels, and the island can't be that far away. Freaking just take the boat. I mean, if a boat can drift to the island on its own accord, these boat people could have gone to that same island.
Mm-hmm.
They must have seen the fires of the people living on the island. So I think they enjoyed being like grimy people.
Grimy boat people.
Yeah, that you reverse time by 474 days or whatever it was. Day one, and they look exactly the same. Seriously.
5 years ago, the same, just no
Yeah.
facial hair.
Yeah. Anyway,
I had related issues with it, and I guess I interpreted it a little bit differently than you did there.
Okay.
When I heard that the National Guard was there helping them out, I guess that didn't really register to me, but I guess my explanation would be that they were there anyway to load these people on the boats, and that's when they learned that that they couldn't swim. And maybe parts of the world where they broadcast this know this, but the radio that they have, or the radio signals that they have, are all static, one after another, until they can finally get to this one coming off of the island, conveniently coming off the island. That's the only signal that they got, so there was no way for anyone there to, at least anyone locally, to know that wasn't already on the island.
yeah.
But I guess that being said, if they went to that island, then they were probably pretty local when they got on. So yeah, the logic does fall apart a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt like that was the weakest part of the film anyway. The whole idea with the radio tower, just that whole plot device. Just because, going back to Lost, there's a whole part of Lost where they basically take turns manning this this area where they have to like punch in these numbers every X number of hours, 2 hours or something. And the whole reason behind it is a little bit nebulous at first and becomes a big plot device. But the point is that they have to take turns as this patchwork society, take turns there and keep doing this sequence of events on the computer, the sequence of keystrokes. And I was like, well, if they've only been there 400 something days, why are they not taking turns at the radio station and saying, instead of playing a song, all you have to do is get on a boat and come to Rieger Island or whatever island they're at, and you'll be safe. In case you're listening, you will be safe if you get on a boat, but instead they play this song.
Right.
And they have to, it just happens to be that Millicent's character is able to pinpoint where this is coming from somehow, and it just felt like it was too difficult. Like, why, in reality, why would they do that? Or is there no one tech savvy enough there to figure out how to put together a pre-recorded message in a radio booth and just have it replay?
Yeah.
If you're hearing this, here's how to save your life. That bugged me.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I mean, they have a tape deck, right? Because there are cassettes that she almost knocks over with her foot.
Right.
Every hour, flip the cassette around or whatever it is.
Man, shouldn't be that hard.
I mean, I would have started a little radio show by that point. You know what I mean? Because I'm narcissistic,
To Renee on Survivor Radio.
Yes! That's exactly what I would have called it. Anyway, so, that just felt, I felt like it could have been developed a little bit more, the boat people.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they needed to necessarily be, like, that scene was there specifically to illustrate that, humanity's evil now. Yeah. But, I actually thought for a moment, because they kept cutting away from that to, to keep flipping back and forth to the different stories, I thought that they were actually going to be, like, good people. I thought that was going to be a twist. Like, hey, sorry for the precaution. We don't know who you were or whatever. We're going to help you get to that island. We're like the ferrymen or whatever, right? I think that would have been a cooler twist for me. That here's Cillian Murphy, who, you give him you develop his character a little bit more, where he has, throughout this whole time, tried to be safe. Like his main focus was just being safe rather than trying to better or improve his situation. And had he just, done a little bit more exploring, he could have found, like maybe some help for his wife.
Yeah.
Right. And, he could have been a little, like kind of a tragic character. But once again, there just wasn't enough time to develop anybody.
Right. That's a good point, or realizing how close they were this whole time to this solution.
Exactly.
If he had just done something about it, been more proactive. That's a good idea. And, we kind of stepped into Renee's rewrite territory, but I think that's
well, I just made that up, off the top of my head. I don't know that, I wouldn't say when I was watching it that I felt like his character or the way he was portrayed was necessarily lacking. But as I'm trying to resolve the boat people issue, I'm finding I need to undergird it with some other things. And now that I'm kind of, when I switch on the kind of the creative juices, right, to write the foundation, it's like, oh, you know what, that actually works out. I like it. And then he can run into a sommelier from hell. Or a coffee sommelier from hell, right?
Wow. Pulling an oldie.
I know. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
I wonder if those are like the highest visibility extras of all time. Because none of the others had any lines.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. They've lost their... Oh, no, they still have the ability to scream.
Right.
But... They just, I mean, Right. They did. I was expecting them to whisper at least.
Right, exactly.
You know, like,
Could have gotten right in their face and,
yeah.
get off our land. Get off our boats. We're
All
the
right.
boat people.
Yeah. I'm really
Get out of
grimy.
here.
I'm
Quickly.
so grimy.
And quietly,
Smell my hair.
before I grease you up. With my paws.
Can you imagine? I would have loved to have seen that. You know, where we're struggling,
Yeah.
right? And every time Cillian Murphy's like grabbing at his arm, it just slides off. Oh, God.
Now you know why. So that being said, there are obviously some issues with the boat people, with the radio. But I will say that I did find that to be the scariest scene in the movie when they took the girl. And I was like, the stakes got like real high now. He's got to do something. And of course, that was not going to happen. Can you imagine the movie? They took the girl and Killian goes to safety.
I know. Exactly.
But I was like, oh man, that is so messed up. I think I even got like chills when they took her because I think I was like you. I was kind of expecting them to break and say, no one comes around here or whatever, something.
Yeah.
Or, and they all go there together or they all do something together.
Right, yeah.
But that they took her, I was like, oh man, that is so messed up because, I mean, I was imagining they're going to rape her or
Yeah.
something. I'm like, oh, this is brutal. And then like the deadness in that guy's eyes. It's like, well acted for no lines.
Yeah.
So
It's called good direction, Brian.
good direction, good acting. Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of sour notes there, just like some logical ones. I mean, if you're going to look at the radio, I mean, quite honestly, it's running on power. I don't know where power is coming from. I don't know where power is coming from anywhere because power doesn't just get created. It's like you have to have people running the power plants, and
It's all solar, bro.
I'm understanding that that everyone's getting eviscerated around the world, except for the power people. We
Yeah.
are the power people.
Exactly.
We are the boat people. But again, I guess it doesn't really play unless you have that logic, or you have to think of something altogether different than the radio signal, which would have been fine for me. So, like I said, there are a couple of, qualities of the film I kind of questioned, but I went along with because I was enjoying the ride so much.
Yeah. Well, when Jamon, or however you say his name,
Dijon.
at the end, when he's like, "Where is it? Did we lose it? We moved too fast. I have to
Right.
go back for my family." And then he just gets killed. It's just like, come on, man. You must have... I felt bad for that actor, right?
Yeah.
Like, he had to make that believable somehow. Like, I would have rather he die heroically, right? Like, the frickin' garage door thing won't shut, right? Or the thing is trying to lift it up, and he's like,
Yeah.
go, and then, then he'll die, right? The thing will, like, slice through the garage door, and then he'll, like, be split in half.
I think it could have been smarter. I think he
Close up of his face.
could have said, I need, is it still? I don't know if it's still there or did it go? It went back. I got to check, and looking and saying, "Oh crap," and then closing the door and holding the door while they go and do their business or something. Well, I guess then it wouldn't be there as a terror. But I would have loved if he just didn't die at all. Like, I don't know why.
Oh, that's fine too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been, both that actor and Cillian Murphy, holding off
Yeah.
the monster.
Of course. There's no reason for it not to be, unless I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, he probably would have been better off subverting because everyone knew when he got close to the door, he's just going to get raked.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're in a movie, die, dude. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Have some understanding. Have you never watched a movie? You can't do that. You can't be that guy.
Right. You can't back towards something. You always have to move, looking forward if you want to live.
Right. Or throw something out there.
Or-
see if
or-
a claw comes out.
You're either going to die immediately or you're going to be jump scared by someone grabbing your shoulder. Hey, buddy, I'm right behind you.
The pigeons on the train. I know it was a cheap scare.
Oh, you jumped.
Scared. I did.
Oh, I jumped too, bro. Of course I jumped.
I didn't jump at the silly mummified guy that the dumb boy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who else? What else would have been in there?
Yeah.
Someone hiding this whole time, like
Yeah.
holding that door shut from the other side. Don't you come in here! Don't you take my first aid kit?
I mean, that whole section was just like, I wish he was set up as a little bit more impulsive because he seems so scared. Like, why would he get out? That kid's not getting out. He's staying tucked away as long as possible. But we needed another cool thing to cut to. And I was like, I didn't really buy that part, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. So I guess that's another big criticism of mine is that the movie felt like it had to separate, it had to tell two stories at the same time, and I think that led or lent itself to why the movie felt so short. Is because we're watching two stories that are happening at the same time, and they're, so you now have a movie that's split in half. So now you're watching 45 minutes of a story for, both of these parties.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't really care that the kid wants to go, the son wants to go up to the second floor to look around.
Right.
I thought he learned something like, he wanted to, he would be able to watch his mom or something, like see his sister from far away with the binoculars or something like that. Like, we didn't even get to see what he looked at.
Right.
I was wearing binoculars and then I'm going to go wander around creepy, whatever overalls hanging. I mean, is that even how factory workers hang their uniforms?
Well, around here it is. Around these parts it is.
I mean, it's like all haphazard. Right. It's not even like on a organized rack on the side. It's like wherever you can hang it. There you go. Right there.
If they had just given him some real motivation, something real, something tangible, like you said, or something that would be helpful,
yeah,
then they could have got behind that scene. I mean, it's still fine. It's just that you knew how that one was going to end.
Yeah,
and just like to have him leave so that he could become a victim and Emily Blunt could be, a badass again. It seemed like it was just for that reason.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I wish it just had a little bit more of a tie-in with the final story.
I agree.
To me, I feel like these are quibbles, though. Like I was still fine with it.
Yeah.
But I agree, I see what you're saying, in terms of splitting up the movie, because we were with the whole group essentially last time, which made it feel more fleshed out. And yeah, maybe if they did extend this to a full 2 hours, it would have been more impactful from that vantage point.
Yeah. Why does Cillian Murphy take the girl's radio and hearing aid when she goes to sleep?
My understanding is he went scouting. And he wanted to take the whole apparatus with him and leave her unprotected.
Yeah, I guess that was it.
At least he knows now how to stop them, and he can use the shotgun or the rifle while he's doing the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bit screwed up. I'm gonna go scout and not tell anyone.
Yeah.
So you can hopefully freak out if you wake up. Yeah, I know.
I don't know what else to say, man. I feel like, it's always, I think, more difficult to talk about movies that are well done. Because most of the things you're going to say is, oh, it's a good movie. Yeah. Shh.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I have much less to say about this than most of the films that we've seen.
Yeah.
Plus, we're not arguing. We kind of agree on everything. Sucks.
Is that really how it normally works?
Well, usually if I like something, you're not usually on board as much. I think Joker was our last one. We were not on the same page on, certainly.
All right. I guess that's fair.
Maybe this one we're just so like bankrupt from good entertainment. We're like, oh, we just need to put the next Netflix streamer on and we'll have a nice long discussion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gunpowder milkshake. Discuss. No.
Uh-oh.
I will not.
Easy,
not.
Brian. Easy.
Don't see it, folks, if you were thinking about it. So there you go. There's my review.
So, Brian, would you flick this movie or pick this movie?
I would absolutely pick this movie.
I would pick it as well. I would pick it.
Man.
But I don't know if it's the, the average-looking girl in a workplace full of dudes thing happening.
Hmm.
You know, because like you said, there's like everything is terrible, and then you get this thing that's like sort of good. Is it just sort of good, or I mean, is it really good, or is it just sort of good? But because
Yeah,
by comparison, it's
it's
really
amazing.
good.
It's
Yeah,
art.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we need to re-review this or re-watch it like in 3 years
There you go.
if it really held up or if we were just delusional at the time.
I like that. I like that idea.
Revisit it. All right, man. Wrap
Yeah.
us up.
I don't even know what the outro is.
Subscribe.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Whatever. Subscribe if
Click
you
that
want.
subscribe button. Flick it. You never know when we're going to be back. Could be now. Could be never
No,
again.
we'll never be back, Brian. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll never be back.
We'll be back to tell you what we're doing next.
There you go. I like that. So subscribe for that,
Boom.
and then we'll delete the channel. Okay, bye everybody.
Peace.
You're so hip, Brian.